first, I want to congratulate you with the release of Postmortem.
Yeah,
It's
thank you.
good to hear from you since there were some rumors that you were going to stop or something.
Oh yeah. There are things just happening when you're together as a band for about 30 years. And to keep this rhythm, like making a record, making a tour, making a record, making a tour, this is something that is working for young and fresh bands pretty well. This is not so easy for a band that's in its 30s. And that's the one thing. And the other thing is the market developed in some special way because everything is going to distribute it more digitally and not physically. So that means for a German-speaking band that doesn't sell records worldwide, it's pretty hard to survive or to make records happen. And there's another thing because Himmelfahrt, the record just before Postmortem, that was has been produced and written during the Corona pandemic, and while other bands were handling the situation pretty well, Subway to Sally wasn't at all. So it was pretty hard for us not seeing each other, playing no shows, and we tried to keep the flame burning. And within this thing, being in this crisis, we thought about the band in general, and we thought about what do we have to say in with our art or with our music. So how should Subway to Sally sound in 2024? Or speaking of Himmelfahrt in 2023, sorry. So we thought about, yeah, let's, after 30 years of band's history, let's go one step back, probably not being that, let's say, innovative. Subway to Sally has always been a big innovator for the whole scene and for German speaking rock music in general. So we thought about, yeah, let's keep focused on the strengths of the band. Subway to Sally is, I think we are able to write pretty good songs, and we have a pretty good violin player. We have a pretty good guitar player. We have, if you ask me, one of the most charismatic and best singers in Germany. So let's stick with the strengths of the band and not experimenting that much. And then Himmelfahrt was released, and everyone loved it. And even the band members loved it. If you're producing a record, you used to listen to the stuff a few thousand times and you get rid of it after the release. But Himmelfahrt is still one of the records I used to pull out of the shelf and have it listen, and I like it. And everyone in the band likes it. The management likes it, the agency likes it, our crew, they like the new stuff. And then we went on tour and something magical happened because it felt like making the last record of the band, because it was pretty exhausting, as I told you before, with the Corona pandemic and all the things to produce music at all. But the fans, they really dig the record, and we went on tour and they were singing along the new stuff. They were asking for the new stuff, which is remarkable for a band that exists for about 30 years. And that, in a way, that kept the flame burning within the band. And there was a new spark. And yeah, we thought about, yeah, what is going to happen if we stay this way, we stay on this road, and if we proceed just like on Himmelfahrt. And then Postmortem just happened. So it wasn't planned to make another record, but after 12 months, we were ready to send the master to the label and to say, "Hey guys, we do have a new record. What do you think about it?" And if you ask me, something more magical happened, because Postmortem, it sometimes it happens when a band is releasing a second album just after 12 months or 18 months. Um, it happens that are probably the songs that kept over from the last production or something, just emptying the trash can on the desk and selecting some new material. But in this case, if you ask me, Postmortem is a pretty strong Subway to Sally record. And it surprises us and it surprises anyone. And the label was surprised. Our environment, the crew, the people around us were surprised, and the fans hopefully will be surprised as well, because Postmortem happened to be a pretty strong Subway to Sally record. What a long answer. Oh my God. No, I think we can finish the interview right now. It's enough material. Go. Quit spitting.
No, we still want to dig into the songs of the album to hear a little bit about the
Yeah.
backgrounds. So let's start with Phoenix. Can you
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about that one?
Yeah, of course. There are some, there's always a second meaning behind the lyrics in Subway to Sally, and some of them are, let's say, autobiographic. So especially this one, if you take Postmortem, the song itself of Phoenix, it's really about Subway to Sally and about the new feeling of never believe that things come to an end before they actually come to an end. You know, never give up. It's like it's just a feeling within the band that we developed after all that shit that happened, Corona pandemic, the feeling of the last record. Will we ever be able to make a better record or an even strong and record that's even to Himmelfahrt or something? And don't give up too early. That's the meaning behind Phoenix. You know, you will probably arise from ashes. It's never too late to start anything. You know, I was talking with a good friend of mine yesterday, and she was like, it's so cool to be able to make music, and I always wanted to start playing the piano, but now I'm in my 40s and I didn't start when I was a child. And I said, fuck it, it's okay. You can start with anything on every point in your life. And I think that's the message behind the song Phoenix.
Oh, that sounds really nice. Let's look at the title track, Postmortem. For me,
Yeah.
it felt like it was a very catchy track, but with a kind of dark twist in it. For
Yeah.
me, yeah. Can you explain a little bit what's the background of this one?
Yeah, you were talking about the music, and the music is, let's say, a classic Subway to Sally party song, you know, just like in the tradition like Sieben, or there are many other tracks that are comparable to Postmortem, with some kind of new fresh influences from modern new metal. Um, but the fun thing about the song is how it was written and what the lyrics are about. So the lyrics are about yeah, it's also autobiographic, I told you before, and it's about a postmortem, about thinking that the band has come to an end and that we said anything, and the spark is over. There's no flame burning anymore. We are old, we are lazy, but in fact, it's the other way around, and that's what the lyrics are about. And we found a metaphor for the story, because here in southern Germany there's a fairy tale which is called the Brandner Kasper, and it's very unique from Bavaria. And the story tells that the Grim Reaper is knocking on the door of the Brandner Kasper to make him die. You know, to and the Brandner Kasper is opening the door, and the Grim Reaper is showing him this thing. This is my 30th interview, and I didn't look up the word for this, for the clock with the sand inside. I will look up the word right now. But give me a second.
Okay, okay.
I don't know, you're from the Netherlands, right?
Yes, I am.
It's the same word in German, it's Sanduhr.
Oh, hourglass. Okay.
Hourglass. It's an hourglass. That's so cool. The word is much cooler than the German one. It's an hourglass. Okay, so he's showing him the hourglass, and he's saying, your time has come. You gotta come with me. And the Brandner Kasper is just like, oh, Grim Reaper, good to see you. Come in, sit down, have a drink. And then he's making the Grim Reaper drunk, and the Grim Reaper is falling asleep, and then the Brandner Kasper is going, he's escaping. So, and the next day, the Grim Reaper awakes, and he's so angry because that never happened to him. Usually people follow him, and he makes him die, and he was never, Brandner Kasper was fucking with him. It was the first time ever that happened. That's a fairy, and we thought that's a very nice metaphor for Subway to Sally, because there are so many people who don't like the band and who wish that Subway to Sally would finish it all. And we are like, come on, we don't give a fuck. We're still there. We're still successful with the stupid shit we are doing. So yeah, we escaped the Grim Reaper once more with Postmortem. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
story behind the song.
it's cool. I saw you made a very cinematic video for that one.
Yeah.
How important do you feel that video is for people to try to get the story of how this album is out there now?
Oh well, I think the story is nice at all. Even though
Yeah.
if you don't know the background of the band, I think it's worth to watch the video, especially that not so many people are familiar, even in Germany, with the story of the Brandner Kasper. My bandmates, which are from northern Germany, they didn't have a clue about it. So I think the story at all is so funny, and it's worth to watch the video, even if you don't understand German. I think it's pretty clear what it's about, and I think it's a very entertaining thing, especially if you realize the cameo appearance of Micha Rein at the end, the singer of In Extremo. And yeah, but that's a different story.
All right, for me, Unter den Banner stood out. It's very powerful, I think. Can you tell
Yeah.
me a little bit about that track?
Yeah, unter dem Banner, which means under the banner. It's about the relationship between the band and the fans, because it's a pretty strong relationship. I have conversations when we do meet and greet with fans who tell me that this was their 50th Subway to Sally show, and then I take out my calculator on my phone and I think 50th shows, $30 a ticket or $40 a ticket. Man, you paid my fridge at home or something. So I thought, we are so grateful having this strong relationship with the fans, and that's a gift to the fans. And within the song, we're saying, we have a good time, but we also have a good time on stage. We have a good time for about decades together, and that's something that's we're so connected with our fans, just like a family. I used to say every band has the fans that the band deserves. So if you're doing something right, and if you're a nice guy, you get the fans you deserve. And if you're doing things wrong, you get the strange fans, people who are, I don't know, who are following you, who are hunting you, people who are not that friendly, people who are stalking you. To be honest, I had this, but when I compare it to other people around me playing in different bands, I had just a very, very mild form, a very low form of that. So usually we have a pretty respectful relationship to our fans, and the fans have a pretty respectful relationship to the band as well. And that's something that's pretty worth and pretty precious. And to keep that relationship, we thought it might be a good idea to say thank you and write such a song.
That's really nice. I think, yeah, indeed, there are so much stories of people being a bit too crazy of a fan, I guess.
Yeah, there are strange times. A few years ago, I can remember the days before social media when you've been quite a rock star, because it was even more precious when people met you after a show or before a show, because it wasn't able to, anyone can drop me a mail, and even though I don't have the time to answer to every single mail, you can drop me mails on Facebook, you can drop me mails on Instagram, you can make comments when I'm posting something, and in 99% of the cases I get it somehow. So I read it, or people forward me some messages or something. So it's pretty, you know, it's not anymore that you're, as a musician, you're that high and you're not reachable. You're pretty close to the people, and I think this is something you have a lot of responsibility, because um, if you're doing something wrong, or if you're an asshole, it's going to be viral within a few hours, and people are used to to stay in touch with the musicians they like. Let's say, yeah, if you're not, if you're not Guns N' Roses or Metallica or Miley Cyrus, if you're just a small shitty band like Subway to Sally, it's the case. So things have changed, and yeah. Um, what did I wanted to say with that, by the way? Back to let's get back to the question. That's also a reason why we are pretty close connected to our fans in these
Yeah,
days.
makes sense, makes sense. All right, I want to ask about the album closer, the Erde Beekt. It's a rather calm track, and I really like that it's at the end of the album. It's kind of makes it a good ending for the album. Can you tell me a little bit how you look at this track?
The Eddie Bebt?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Eddie Bebt means the earth is shaking, and that's a pretty personal song because our violinist Ellie, she was writing it, and I think she has a lot. She has a lot of things to do in her life because she's mother of a son, and she's one of the best musicians I've ever met, and she's one of the nicest people I've ever met too. And she was going through a pretty hard time during the last years, and I think that's she's trying to, or at least she's just saying some things that need to be said from the deepest parts of our hearts. So it's a pretty personal song, and Ingo was very carefully in arranging it, and it's a classic Subway to Sally ballad in the end. So it starts from pretty small and pretty mystic to very big at the end, and it's just an explanation mark at the end of the record. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. All right. I saw that there were some bonus tracks sent out
Oh
for
yeah.
review. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You had some collaborations in there. Some were
Yeah.
even in English. For example, the Sorrow Childs.
Yes.
Could you tell me how these collaborations got together? Are you like friends with these
Yeah,
people?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, you know, we have a lot of friends. Subway to Sally has a
Hmm.
lot of friends. No, to
Makes
be
sense.
honest, we're working, Ingo and me, we're working as music
Yeah,
producers
yeah.
as well. So, and Bodensky is working as a lyric writer for other projects too. So we are
Hmm.
pretty good connected to many people. And, you know, I've been working with Anna Brunner, for example. You've been talking about Sorrow Child. She's the
Yeah.
singer of League of Distortion, which is a pretty new band, and it's her very own band, and she's the partner of Hannes Braun, who happens to be the singer of Kiss and Dynamite, and he was working with us on this lovely record as a producer and songwriter, and he's a pretty close friend and very, I would say, a pretty important person in the whole Subway to Sally universe. And yeah, so it was not that far away to ask Anna if she could make an English version of one of our songs, and I was pretty impressed, to be honest, because I think she's one of the best female singers around there. You should definitely check out her band League of Distortion, and you should check out this bonus track on this record because it's, you know, it's, we didn't change anything on the instrumental. We didn't shift it up or down or something. She just sang on the original instrumental, and I was blown away. She was sending over the files. We did a translation into English, which was working pretty well. So we did 4 translations into English, and even though you cannot translate it word by word because sometimes English sounds different and sometimes words have a different meaning compared to English, compared to German, sorry. We did the translation together, and then she sang it and she sent it over and was like, "Is it okay? Is it like?" And I was like, I wouldn't change anything. It's amazing." And we have other featurings with Felix of Dominum, who's also a pretty close friend of mine, and I'm so glad that he found the time to make this version happen. And we have Melissa Bonney and we have Mantra, and all of these versions have different favors and different things to discover. And the most important thing is to realize how different and how cool the Subway to Sally things sound if you change the singer or if you change the language at all. So
Mm.
there's a completely new universe of sound to discover, and even especially Melissa, I was recording her and I was recording her remotely. I know her from Feuerschwanz, and she was singing, and I was like, I was smiling and thought that's so cool because she's sounding like an angel, and then the whole Phoenix thing gets a different touch. If a girl with a very clean and nice and still powerful voice is performing the song, and then she started to growl, and I was like, I was laughing out loud because I was so excited about it. I thought this is so crazy cool. And then we have Mantra, which is one of the up and rising folk rock or folk metal bands here in Europe, and they have a different image, you know, with all the felt stuff they're wearing and very strong. And they're like, oh, we're going to war, and they did a cover of the song Wunder, and it just sounds 100% like Mantra. And yeah, as I told you before, we have the version with Felix, and we still have some more bonus songs to discover where we asked some friends to make some medieval market versions of the Subway to Sally songs, and that also worked very well. So, as you realize, I really dig the bonus record. Even though it's just a bonus record, it feels like a unique record at all. So, don't be shy if you took a listen to the main record. Give the bonus record a spin too, because it's really worth to listen.
Yeah, I can only agree to that. All right, seeing the time, I have only one last question for you, which is we ask everyone: do you have a Christmas wish or some wisdom that you want to share with the world?
Oh, that's a yeah, a pretty strong question, and it needs a pretty strong answer. So you know, we live in pretty strange times. So I don't know how you handle it, but I stopped to watch the news every day in Corona, and I didn't um I didn't start watching it daily until now because it's just we're coming from crisis into crisis, and being a musician and giving the people something that probably, hopefully, makes them having a good time is a great thing. We should have more art and more love in the world and less crisis, less war. Yeah, love each other, try to be peaceful, try to be happy. Yeah, try to survive anyhow, and give music a chance, give bands a chance, give Subway to Sally a chance with a new record, Postmortem.
Those are some really nice words. Thank you very much for your time. And yeah, I hope to see you on the road somewhere.
Sabina, hopefully too. Yeah, if you ever make it to a Subway to Sally show, drop me a mail, and then we will have a drink together.